Hello, my name is Jackiefish and welcome to Thrones of Britannia, the brand new saga title set in the year 878 after the historic defeat of the Viking army by Alfred the Great. To create a lasting peace, he allowed them to settle in the north of England, however tensions soon rised and war was inevitable once again. Creative Assembly have been kind enough to allow me to show you guys an early build of the game in 3 10-minute videos. Over these 3 videos, we'll be exploring the campaign as Northumbria, one of the settled Great Viking armies. I should mention that this is an early build of the game, so things are subject to change, and any bugs we run across will most likely be fixed before launch. We join my campaign at turn 52, after I have already consolidated my kingdom. In the early game, I suffered from disloyal nobility, which meant the civil war could break out at any time. To counter this, I used the new estate mechanic, giving away power from the crown to the nobility. They became much more loyal as I was giving them land, as well as losing power for myself. This allowed me to avoid civil war in the early game and focus on my expansions. My early expansions brought me eastwards. My neighbour had 3 very valuable towns outside of their main city, which provided them all with food. Food is extremely important in Thrones of Britannia, as it allows you to recruit soldiers. The more food you have, the bigger your armies can be, so securing these resources early on is extremely important. However, after a few battles and securing their lands and securing their farms outside of their main city to the north, they decided that they wanted peace. They sued for peace, however I declined, and instead of just spawning more armies, they looked for help diplomatically, which was great to see in Thrones of Britannia, because I feel like many Total War games don't do that. They simply just give the AI more armies, and it was great to see that the AI was actually going out and actively seeking diplomatic relations. They knew the end was nigh if they didn't do anything, so they went ahead and accepted vassalization by a bigger faction to the north right here. This ensued and brought them into the war, meaning that I now had to deal with them. Luckily, I used my own vassals, which were down to the south of me, to move northwards. If we take a look at the diplomatic map, we can see them right here. They were this faction, as well as the army to the north, right here. They're no longer my vassal as I released them, however during the period of the war against this northern faction, we went ahead and used each other, we backed each other up on the battlefield, and they listened to me, which was great to see. My vassals weren't just simply giving me money, they were actually providing me with troops, and their armies were moving northwards and supporting me wherever I needed them to be, which again was great to see. And we are simply preparing for our war against Mercia, who are now the strongest faction in the game after conquering the Welsh kingdoms. So this should be a fun set of 3 videos of us just moving out against the Mercian kingdom. As we can see, my armies are ready. We have my king, who as we saw has a really good bodyguard of 170 men, along with a fairly elite army. Thrones of Britannia allows you to recruit pretty much all your units at the beginning of the game. However, it takes a lot longer to replenish these more expensive units. As the period is winter, let's just jump in. We'll end the turn and then we'll jump in and get ready for this war against Mercia. I have my king and my heir, which might not be the best idea to send both of them southwards. However, we are preparing. We also have our food secured and also our food being increased, as I'm going to need to produce more units very soon to maybe even replenish these armies, send off more against Mercia, or provide myself with armies to guard my territory whilst my main 2 forces are away from home. Summer has come and war is ready to be declared. Quickly though, before we do jump in this war against pretty much every single Anglo-Saxon army down to the south, we went ahead and got our new upgrade, Master of Spears, giving us access to our top tier spearmen, which will definitely help us out in this fight. We now have the ability to pick up a few more military techs, or we could go down the civil route. Each of these ones are unlocked after doing a certain thing, so you can go ahead and read these and understand what ones you want to go to and what ones you want to try and rush towards. For example, I unlocked the melee infantry one by simply just building more sword infantry. I want to go ahead and hit Chester as soon as I can, because I want to be there before winter does hit and I start taking attrition outside. As you can see, we're going to be declaring war on pretty much everyone of importance. Hopefully we can help out our Viking brothers of the East Anglers as well. So war has been declared, and it's going to be a brutal one, but one nonetheless. So one of the things I really love about city sieges is, one, each of the cities are individual. No one walled city is alike, which is really cool. Also, you can build a siege equipment straight away, and you can build a ton of it, which is something I really did dislike from Warhammer Total War, where you had to wait 2-3 turns to even build any siege equipment. So we built up both our armies. Obviously they did, or not obviously, but they did go ahead and produce their heir up here. He's not a great commander, but he does have some decent units. So if he does look to try and fight my armies and stop me at Chester, then that's going to make for an interesting battle indeed. We have another army as well, which we're going to move down, as luckily we have a pretty good defensive position right here. There's only one way into my kingdom unless they secure or go through another kingdom. So because of that, I can hold this province right here. I think this is modern day Manchester, and just hold them in place and keep them at bay with a defensive army at these river crossings. The heir to the Mercian throne did run away, allowing us just to take this city without too much problem. We're going to go ahead and just auto-resolve this for the sake of time purposes, but don't worry, we will be getting into many battles very, very soon, so don't you guys worry. Taking this province is great. We can go ahead and secure it for ourselves or sack it. We do get more money from sacking from playing a great Viking nation. However, I want to secure it and make sure that I have this province down here, allowing me to push into the other provinces and also give me vision around the other lands of Mercia. Fight me they have. Their heir has got way too cocky and has decided to attack me. Unfortunately, we did take a little bit of attrition, but I am ready for battle and ready to take out this Anglo-Saxon scum. We are now on the battlefield and my forces are ready to give their lives if that is what is needed for victory today. We then, as we go back, have my spear line. These guys are in the awesome new shield wall formation and they'll be ready just to keep the enemy at bay. They won't do as much damage as I would like, however their defensive value is just good enough for me. We then have my second line of axemen. These are going to be a follow-up force, my second line of reserves who push in as the spearmen start to falter and kind of go through the spears themselves and push on the enemy. We then have my swordsmen. These guys are my elite hitting power, and these are going to be sent to the situations where I feel like I'm losing quite desperately. So if I need more support on the flanks or in the center, that's where these swordsmen are going to go. Finally, I have my elite general bodyguard with 170 men ready to do battle and slay the enemy forces. The battle lines are about to clash, and as you can see, the Mercian infantry is going very, very wide. This has caused me to push out a unit of my axemen to the right flank to help protect myself so that I don't get enveloped too early. I also see this opportunity to send an elite unit of my swordsmen to the right flank whilst the rest of my battle line holds against their ferocious spearmen. The axemen over on the left hand side have managed to create an early break and also on the right flank, so as long as my centre holds, the battle is looking good for me so far. The front line is starting to break a little bit as well. Because of that, I have sent over more reinforcements to try and keep that gap plugged. As long as I wait, you can see my infantry does now return, however they are wavering because they have just returned from combat. However, keeping them in as a last line of reserve will be good. It will allow them to get their energy back and help pursue this battle. As you can see, the balance of power is still extremely even as the battle does rage on, but my right flank has been successful. With the elite swordsmen I brought over here, they can now help to envelop and close off the retreat for the enemy soldiers. I've also decided to throw in my general, because he is such a strong warrior, I cannot deny him a chance at Valhalla, and that has forced the Mercian heir to go ahead and send his bodyguard in as well. This is great, because I would give anything to take him on in a 1v1, knowing my Vikings would stand firm and win the day. Now it is only a matter of time until the last pockets of resistance do break. However, that does not cause the end of the battle. In Thrones of Britannia, it was always a good idea to continue pursuing the enemy. Killing their forces on the battlefield is one thing, but pursuing them after they've routed is another, to reduce their numbers afterwards. As you guys can see, we managed to win the day and kill the enemy heir. This is going to anger their king, and I imagine retribution will soon follow. Unfortunately though, the Mercian army did manage to escape from me. We accidentally clicked over here and actually went on sea, which is not too great. If we look down to the south though, we can see that Mercia have brought up 60 units, 3 full stacks, ready to take me out, which is a little bit scary. So we went ahead and built some more soldiers over in Manchester. Producing these units is going to be really nice. So one of the things in Thrones of Britannia is that units don't start off at full strength. It takes time for them to replenish, around about 3 to 4, depending on what your food is at and what your replenishment rate is at. So that's really cool, because it means that the AI can't just spam out all these armies. If I defeat these 60 units right here, it's going to take them a while to rebuild their forces and create more armies like this. So if I can defeat these guys, I can go ahead and push on elsewhere. And I think we're going to be getting an epic siege of Chester very, very soon, with our faction leader inside with his 9 commands now. My god, after taking it, 190 elite soldiers in his unit. That's just totally epic. So I'm going to end the episode here. The other 2 episodes will be uploaded on the channel very, very soon, so keep an eye out for that. There'll also be a link for the playlist down below in the description. Make sure to drop a like and a comment if you enjoyed and want to see more Thrones of Britannia, and I'll see you guys in the next one.